Welcome to Jackson Wink MMA Academy. Through these doors walk the greatest fighters in the world. You're listening to JW Raw with Eminem.
Hey, you guys ready? Ready to go
Very
live?
good,
Yeah,
man.
it's too loud. Too loud, bro.
Too loud? Let's
Yeah, way
adjust a
too
little
loud,
bit.
bro. His is too loud.
Yeah, yours is too loud.
Mine's too loud.
Yeah, lower it. Now it's better though.
All right.
Here we go. Ready to go?
Everyone's ready?
All right, let's go.
All right, mine's going all out of control.
In which way?
Oh, vertical. Hold on. Something's going down with my microphone.
This game must be too high.
All right.
Can
All
you
right.
hear everyone?
It's back to normal.
All right.
It's back to normal. Damn.
Can you hear us now?
Isaac, can you hear everything?
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear everything. I hear you're the loudest over there.
Hey,
Yeah, let's
quiet over
the
there.
boss is always
Loud.
Here we go. On you guys.
Live?
Yeah, we're live.
All right.
We're live?
Great. Welcome.
All right.
All right.
That's our first one.
This is our first show. This is welcome to Jackson Wink Live, aka JW Raw.
With Eminem, Mark,
And
Misha.
Mark and Misha. I like that.
You like that, right?
I like that you're going embracing the Misha and not going with the Michael or the Mike
he looks
Miguel.
more like a Misha than a Michael
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I guess
he's-
stay
he's
true
a
to my
Misha.
roots, and it's
Yeah.
my name.
Yeah, now that Misha Tate's out of the sport, it doesn't.
But
you
it's
know.
actually spelled different, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
So today is our first show, and we got a very special in-house guest. Like a couple of them actually. We've got Diego Sanchez and his training partner Isaac, the Shermanator Marquez.
Yep. I got the Shermanator right here. This guy right here is a champion, thoroughbred warrior, and he's getting ready for his big fight, right, Shermanator?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And who are you going to be fighting in your big fight?
Diego.
That's right. We're gonna have a big fight, and we're gonna look to get him on a Jackson Wink card, and get him a nice belt, and we're gonna throw down.
Very well, man. Can't wait, man.
So
We've been observing Isaac training with you, man. It's something special, man. It's very interesting how this bond was developed between you two, man. It's good to see, man.
Yeah, we get together once a week, and we do all kinds of stuff. But first thing that we wanted to attack was health and get him eating healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do we eat? What do we eat, Isaac?
Egg ham.
Huh?
Ham egg.
Yep.
Ham and eggs.
And some salads.
My lettuce.
Your lettuce. And what else?
No Coke.
No Coke.
Oh my God.
And
That's the
what
best
else?
one.
No salt.
No touch.
No bread.
No bill.
And no cheese.
No tea.
Yeah. No pizza for Isaac. You
Oh
know, it's
my
not easy
God.
being
It
a
is.
champion.
It's not easy being the training partner of the world famous Diego Sanchez here. Apparently, no pizza.
And it's good to see.
You know,
how
we do a body conditioning drill. I would love to get some video of it where he just gets on me, and man,
Yeah, we do have some video actually.
He
We'll
just
play that.
he just tags me in the body, and we go as hard as we can. Huh? You want to do a round right here?
Oh,
You
yes.
want to do a round? You ready? Here, we'll do a round. We'll do a round.
Here we go. See that?
you just gotta stay in the line of the camera.
All right, let me get this back here.
There we go.
All right.
Okay. Why don't you guys turn face that camera
Yeah,
over there?
turn just tiny bit.
There
Yeah.
you go. That's perfect.
And we're here.
We want everyone to watch this. This is.
And you're gonna throw just your punches. Come on. There you go. There you go. There you go, Isaac. Come
Yeah.
on. Come on, Isaac. Come on.
Hit him,
Hit it
Isaac.
harder. Come on. Harder. Harder. Come on. Come on. He needs to get his workout today. There you go. There you go. Harder.
There you go. Yeah.
Two lions going at it.
That's the best workout that I do all week.
And this is what we witness weekly. Literally, guys. He comes in. Tell us about how you came to meet the Shermanator in the first place, Diego.
Well, you know what happened is he just walked in, and I just love the fans, and I love the youth, and anybody that supports us, I support them. So you know, for many years being a fighter from Albuquerque, man, Greg will tell you, when we started, they just would throw us to the dogs. We didn't get no respect, and so now we got all these fans coming in. So I embrace it. I appreciate it, and you know, take pictures and do whatever, you know, when the fans come walking in through the doors of JW. I embrace him. So I saw him, and I asked him, I said, "You like fighting?" He said, "I love UFC." And I said, you want to fight? Yeah, you want to just watch, or do you want to train? And he's like, "I want to fight." And so I was like, "All right, then let's do it. Get on the mat." And we started running, huh? And then we got him breathing hard, got him stretching, and now he's getting more flexible. Before we couldn't get him to kick probably maybe above your knee. Now he's kicking above the hip, and he's already lost, I think, 15 pounds.
Wow.
And he's healthier, and we're gonna keep him motivated to stay eating healthy and exercising. And tell him no more what?
No body or fat no more.
No body fat no more?
No fat belly.
No fat belly.
No fat
All right.
belly no more.
Okay,
All right. Good call.
Well, Isaac, you're definitely an inspiration to a lot of people, man. I mean, I know how you do it. It just when you come in and you come to my office, give me a hug all the time. It just melts my heart, man. Like, when I see it, it's just like you light up a smile on my face. That's for sure. And people really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Isaac's a bundle of love, and he started training with me. And I'll tell you what. At first, I was like, I don't know. I'm a little worried he's gonna get hurt. He might get injured, So I didn't know how hard I was gonna be able to push him or what I was gonna be able to do with him.
He's got that drive, though,
Yeah, no, and one practice he came in and he had been studying on YouTube, and he blew my mind that day because he was moving, similar to myself in a lot of ways, and he was doing different stuff that I had never seen him do, and I was like, man. This kid, he does got it. He really is a fighter.
Yeah. And who wouldn't be better than you following in your footsteps, right, Isaac? It's like, you're learning from literally one of the best to ever do it, man. And I was going to ask you, Diego, because, you actually one of the oldest fighters on the UFC roster, not age-wise, but career-wise.
Right now,
right?
he's the senior fighter for the entire
fighter,
UFC roster.
What keeps you going, Diego? You still fight in cream of the crop fighters, man. Some of the best fighters in the world. It's not like you really drop down.
I never dropped the level of competition ever. It's always been the top of competition, and for the most part, it was all pre-USADA, And I know that in the prime of my career, I was fighting a lot of guys that were on gear, and I remember the phases of MMA where I was, for me, my struggles were more, drinking and partying than getting into that type of stuff. Yeah. But I would observe a lot of people on human growth hormone and testosterone and stuff like that. So I know that I was fighting, not only was I fighting the best in the world, I was fighting guys that were not natural, and now what keeps me going is just continuing to fight the best and the challenge of the sport. I think that's why we all do it as fighters, is the challenge of the sport in the beginning. It's the challenge of competing, and for me the challenge has always been to continue to adapt, to be able to adapt to the UFC, because I've seen so many circles and patterns and formations of where the sport has gone to, from grappling to wrestling to ground and pound to all kinds of different forms, and that to karate to kickboxing to boxing and round and round and round.
Not to mention now a couple different ownerships to the organization.
Different ownerships,
changes,
different ownerships, and not only that. Look at the thing that changed a lot and forced our sport to evolve was the ban of IVs. Yeah. The ban of IVs dramatically changed the sport.
So much harder to recover and hydrate,
especially if you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
And I think once you're at 35 years old, I think your body just doesn't really recover the same for some reason. For some whatever reason, you don't recover the same. Maybe it's.
And I really like that you're a big fan of different gadgets all the time. Like you have the thing on your head now. Like
yeah.
What I guess, where do you find things like? Because there's so many different companies and manufacturers just producing so many different things and supplements and gadgets,
when you love it and you research,
you're very unique in this way because you always have something new.
Yeah, Joey Villasenor. If you got Joey Villasenor and you asked him about all the gadgets that I've had over the years, he'll tell you, he'll be like, oh, Diego always got something new, and
Should open up a little.
he'll come in with something new, and everybody will be looking at him like, man, what the hell is this weirdo doing with that? And then 3 years later, everybody else will be doing it.
Are you saving those things, all the gauges you had over there? You should do a little museum man, for display. That'd be kind of cool, man. Like, because like some of this stuff I've never even seen in my life. Like that people make gauges like this. That's all right.
It's always been since a very young age. I think like 22, 23 years old, I had a really bad hip injury, and what saved me from that hip injury was doing a full year of yoga every single day.
Helps.
And so that's what got me into the anti-aging, and seeing Randy Couture as my introduction to the UFC. The first UFC card I was ever on was with Randy Couture. The first Ultimate Fighter I was with Randy Couture, and so I used to look at this guy who was in his 40s, and he was amazing, just what he was doing, and I was like, man, that's the key. And then Rickson Gracie, into his 50s, he would clean the clocks of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champions. He would invite them over to his house for years and years and years. I know, because I trained with Saulo Roberto, and he was one of the guys. You know, as he would invite these guys over to their house, and like, I'm talking greats. I heard Jacare's name in there. I heard, like Rickson Gracie inviting these Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champions to his house, and from what I heard, he was pretty much owning it. Yeah. And so that, and he was a jiu-jitsu, he was a jiu-jitsu yoga enthusiast, and so for him, and then seeing Randy Couture being a wrestler, and I realized, I said, it clicked. I said, if you can fight the aging process, then you're going to be able to do this longer. Right. You're going to be able to do this longer. You're going to be able to be one of those guys that was able to have longevity in this sport. But not only that, it also comes with adjustments and adaptations, like for instance, not getting hit, or me going up to 170. Look at the way I'm adapting again. I'm adapting to the situation again. I know that at 35 years old, I'm not recovering from the weight cut the same. It's affecting me in my fights, because I know at that dehydrated state, it takes 72 hours to fully rehydrate yourself, the brain. And your muscles will feel right back up with water, but they say the brain, it takes 72 hours to completely be back at 100%. Right. So we're killing ourselves for 4 days minimal, and cutting maybe 20 to 15 pounds to 10 pounds, whatever. We're still cutting a lot of weight. We're pulling a lot of water off of our bodies, and I just know that when I went into my fight with Joe Lozon, and when I went into the fight with Elia Quinta, both where I had pretty good weight cuts, I did it as scientifically perfect as I could to get it, but still, the body just, the amount of cortisol that your body has produced over a whole 4 or 5 days of just depleting yourself, it's stressful to the body. And I feel like going in there, when I got hit, the jolt, feeling that jolt and getting rocked easier because of the process of dehydrating the brain for 4 or 5 days. Yeah, go ahead and cut all the weight you want in your youth, in your 20s, to all you other young fighters and stuff. Yeah, you get away with it as long as you can, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, it catches
gone, up with you. How many years have you been now fighting in the UFC?
I've been fighting in the UFC now. I made my debut with Zuffa in 2004, but it was actually 2005, so 12 years now.
So you've been at the highest level for 12 years now. And UFC obviously the highest level.
Not leaving either.
So that was going to be my question.
I always bring this up because of, obviously, I've been a fan of the game for so many years, and then ending up to run the best, MMA gym literally in the world with guys like you, and many others. It's always your career fascinated me all the time, and I remember we were sitting in Randy's apartment watching you grapple with Roy Nelson, man, at one of those grapplers' quests.
Yep.
And Roy Nelson was a heavyweight, So that's why, like, I was always fascinated. How are you able to transition through your career and fight at so many different weights? I mean, you were thick at that time. You were big, you know. And Roy Nelson was also a big guy, and you put up an amazing fight with him. He didn't submit you, and he was a legitimate black belt at that time. So, like, I mean, for those that don't know who Diego Sanchez is, man, like, it's impossible not to know if you're in the game, you know. Exactly. But then. And, you know, I always give Diego a shout-out, man, when I talk about him. Is like, he literally put Albuquerque on the map. The first fighter to win the Ultimate Fighter.
Season 1, exactly,
Albuquerque, yeah. Season 1. And actually, I always give him the props for literally starting the MMA movement in Albuquerque and putting Coach Jackson, Coach Wink, obviously, along the way on the map and creating this whole system, man.
Like I said earlier, look, all I did was I just opened the door because we had that name, the New Mexican name, and for whatever reason, man, they freaking just they like to throw us to the dogs. They never give us a chance. And at this point,
proved them wrong, man.
We did, and that was when we opened the door, and once we kicked our way through that door, we never looked back.
Greg Jackson took you under his wing, and you've never looked back. Your work ethic is incredible, man. I can attest to that for the past few years now that I've been watching you in this gym and the old gym. I mean, you are actually a coach in a way, because these guys look up to you. These younger guys, and they you motivate them. I mean, you've got your routine where you'll go around and yell and scream.
It's fun. It's fun motivating these guys, talking to them, encouraging them. You know, I just was talking to a kid yesterday that was in the amateur class, and he has this brace on. He's like, I've worn this brace for 3 years, and it saved me. And I was like, man, you gotta get rid of that brace.
There you go.
I was like, you gotta throw that thing in the trash.
Every time I roll with you, Diego, man, to me it's like a freaking headache, man. It's like, you know, you push me to the brink of like breaking, man, because that pace is hard to keep up with, man. You just full. I know where you get that energy, man, but I learned so much from you, man. Love rolling with you, man, because I never know how it's going to turn out, man.
The amateurs really look up to you. I mean, they look up to all the senior fighters, obviously, and it's good to watch you take them to the side and talk to them, just like that story you told.
Yeah, Misha, I'm excited. I'm excited for everything that's going on here at the gym. Ever since the expansion and our new building, you know, I love this place, man. I love this place. Really I come to work. I come to work and I treat it like a job. I like to come and I like to work. I like to be it's an honest work. MMA, you know, it's an honest job. You know,
I always fear when like guys like you that they're gonna retire one day and we're not gonna see them, like, you know, fighting like you, Hollins, like all the veterans in the sport. I always like, man, you know, eventually, obviously, you know, everyone's career comes to an end at one point.
Yes, yes, it does.
And I wish you so much of the best, Diego. Like,
yeah.
Hopefully,
I'll tell you what.
healthy.
I'll tell you what though. After I'm done fighting, I can promise you this right now. I'm still gonna be here.
I want you to be here.
No. I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna be training and
coaching, training.
It's not like you're gonna move to Hawaii and never see us again.
I'm not gonna be that guy that looks back on MMA and is like misses it so much that it's like life is over. You know, like I'm gonna be the guy that looks back and said, "Hell yeah, I did that shit hard. I went harder in that one, man."
I'm still doing it.
And the proof is in any YouTube video with you in there. I mean, some wars in there. Yeah.
Now I got a very interesting fight, man. It's a crossroads fight for me and Matt Brown. He's 1 year older than me, and he's a bigger dude. I know he's dealing with a lot of the same stuff that I'm dealing with. And at our age, and he's bouncing off of 3 losses. He wants to get a win real bad. I need to get a win too. And the thing is that's going to be different is I'm going to be a smaller man fighting a bigger man, but
not for the first time though.
You know, I got a lot of heart in this. I got a lot of heart in this body, and I'm gonna fight with every bit of heart that I have, and I'm gonna use my intelligence in this fight. And I'm gonna fight strategic, and I'm gonna get the job done. That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna be faster at 170. Most people would think, that I would be faster down at the lighter weight class because they are faster guys down at the lighter weight class, and I would be lighter. But I'm not faster down at 55 because I'm depleted and I'm not at my full strength, and I'm not rested like I'm going to be rested at 170. And I'm going into this fight, and it's going to be a barn burner because we're going to get after it. He's a warrior, I'm a warrior, and we both come from high altitudes, and we both get after it in the strength and conditioning training. It's going to be a war.
Nice. Okay. Looking forward to it. Well, before we proceed, I'd like to give a shout out to a company, to the local company that actually made
And
this
now,
whole
a word
podcast
from our
possible,
sponsors.
because obviously this is our first episode, and we're gonna try to continue going for as long as we can. It's obviously an era of podcasting, right? And we have this local company called CBD Boutique. They're producing this great products. Obviously, it seems like CBD is taking over the MMA industry. As you could see, a lot of fighters endorsing products and things like that because, in all fairness, they do work. Me as a grappler myself, I've been grappling for so long. I always deal with inflammations in my body, and you're always looking for alternative medicines, things like that, because obviously you don't want to be on pills all the time, So, and I was actually online researching CBD and stuff. I was going to order something online, but then I'm like, why there's got to be some kind of maybe store in town that that I can go maybe ask questions and get recommendations, things like that. So I pulled it up, and I found this place, CBD Boutique, and
local company,
here on off the Central Avenue, right?
Yeah, right.
So
right
and I just like, hey, let's go, drive up there and talk to them, and I went in there and I met Billy and one of the owners, and we started talking, and they actually producing a phenomenal product. 'Cause a lot of people always ask about because obviously it's made of THC, right, and cannabis and stuff like that.
No, it's actually not. It is actually not.
Well, it's a derived from cannabis, right?
Yeah, it is from hemp. It is from hemp. Yes.
And people always ask if since a lot of athletes endorsing it, and obviously everyone gets drug tested, a lot of people asking, hey, can I pop for THC? And I spoke to Billy yesterday.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right away. When I first found out about CBD, I was interested in, I heard about Cain Velasquez using it for his pain and certain stuff, and just all the social media craze, about CBD and that it could be good for neurogenesis and just the brain and all kinds of positive benefits that would help fighters, especially long-term career fighters. Also Bas Rutten endorses a product, and he's one of the fighters who's been a warrior for probably 20 years himself. Yeah, also,
I see him over
and but the thing with the CBD stuff is, it's actually hemp. It comes from hemp, and hemp and marijuana, they're kind of like cousin plants.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't have the THC in it, and it's a cannabinoid. And the way that this works on your body, it really is phenomenal. And I do think that this is something that is a positive thing because it can give people help without having to get on painkillers. And even Tylenol is so terrible for your liver, so it's just I think it's a natural positive thing. It doesn't get you high. It's not like smoking a joint or anything like that. It's actually a real true medical thing. And I called up the USADA and talked to the guy, and he told me, and he told me right away. He said I would just suggest that you stop taking this within 10 days of the fight, because we only test.
That's the question.
We only test for this. We only test for this in competition. Okay. And he said, on the safe side, I wouldn't take this 10 days before the fight.
And that's going to be a lot of people are going to ask that question a lot. Is it a USADA approved thing that you can take.
Well, I called because actually the one who called me, the one who actually told me about CBD was Cowboy Cerrone. And he's like, oh, nothing works on my knees like this. And he's like, this is the only thing that gets my knees out. I'm like, I know, man. I was like, them knees, man, you put a lot of hard work on them knees. Been hitting people with them knees for years. So
it's gotten so popular right now, CBD oil, and actually the Hecka hemp company here locally has actually come out with a new formula that they're getting ready to roll out now that's specifically made for government official types and athletes and anyone
awesome.
that are held to higher testing standards, because obviously they don't want to be to blame for people losing their jobs.
This is the one that they're going to be developing. Energos by Hecka Hemp Company. And let me read this statement. Is an innovative new product designed for athletes and business professionals alike. By infusing pure CBD isolate in our proprietary terpene-rich essential oil blend into certified organic safflower oil, we've been able to create a potent and safe product with the professionals in mind. Energos is perfect for daytime use and meant to be a great choice for those who undergo drug screening, whether for sporting events or at the workplace.
And if anyone needs me to read that in English, I proudly will.
Well, English is not my first language. You guys hear us arguing around. If I ever give him an elbow on live, it's kind of meant to be, because he always gets under my skin. So we got that Mexican versus Russian thing rivalry always going on and stuff. So
but anyway,
Well, please, guys, support your local companies.
Shout out to Hecka. Yeah. They actually sponsor. This will be my first month being under a sponsorship program with them, where they're gonna let me try the product while I can, and and I have been using it, and I've been feeling dramatic inflammation decrease.
Likewise, I've been using it.
Dramatic inflammation decrease.
I think it calms you down too, before bed and start going to sleep. It just relaxes you, without feeling anything like just a good product.
Yeah, I think at some point it's going to be a more acceptable product to use. Right now, there's just a lot of confusion about it right now. But it's getting accepted a lot more,
and that's a good thing. It's an exciting thing. It's an exciting thing, and it's something that's really good for football players, and also good for us fighters and boxers alike, and rugby players, and all kinds of stuff. But the one thing about this CBD is that it's not also good for us. It's also good for pets. So people, you're not thinking outside the box, because a lot of people out there that are listening to the show probably have dogs, and they will do anything for their dogs. People nowadays, they're like, dogs are their kids.
Literally.
And this stuff on dogs has an 80% turnaround rate for anxiety. So like, if you have a dog who's anxious or skittish, or can't be around a lot of people, and has social anxiety, you give the dog some of this CBD stuff, and it's not THC, it's CBD, and it doesn't get your dog high or anything, and it will calm them down.
So Isaac, you hear us talking about all that? You know what's going on there?
Oh yeah.
So tell us, have you watched a lot of Diego's fights?
Yes, I've seen him pick a fight.
Which one was your favorite fight?
Yeah,
I like Diego.
Diego, anything with Diego. That's us too.
This is my main man right here.
Diego's work ethic I was talking about earlier has actually rubbed off big time on Isaac, because I'll tell you what, the guy comes in, even when Diego comes in late, Isaac is here on time every single Thursday.
Yeah.
And a lot of the fighters have obviously accepted him to the team, and they'll jump in and they'll be sparring with Isaac out in the cage, and it's an awesome thing to see, because all the athletes are so great with him,
and Isaac's quite.
He doesn't hold back.
Isaac's quite the ladies' man himself too.
He's got a little girlfriend, I hear.
Ladies' man.
Yeah.
I think that's we gotta give him applause for that one.
That's right.
Thank you.
He definitely knows how to,
he knows how to talk to us.
How to talk to girls, man, especially sending kisses to them.
He'll get the kisses. I see him getting more kisses in this gym than anybody else.
Who's your favorite, Isaac?
I like Diego.
Diego.
Yep, he gets kisses from me even. Who else? Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite girl in the gym?
I like my girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Who?
One girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, see, he's loyal.
Oh,
One
only
girlfriend.
one girlfriend.
Very
Oh,
low.
okay, okay.
See, and I was thinking it was someone else. Okay.
And what's her name?
Lyubaren.
Wow, Lydia
Sign
P.
language
Warren.
and
Holy
everything.
cow.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. That guy's a genius.
Well, you pull up a picture of Lydia.
I
and,
couldn't. Do
yeah.
you see those hand signs, man? Jeez, man, you are amazing.
Casanova.
You are amazing. But and look who's that one? Who's
Right
that?
home.
Yep.
Holly Holm.
Yep. She's the champion, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Just like you.
Oh, you.
So Isaac, tell us a little bit. What are you looking forward to most in your fight with Diego?
My fighting buddy.
Because he's your fighting buddy.
Uh-huh. My birthday gift for me.
Yep. Your birthday gift. Did you lose one of your gloves or did you find it?
It's my
You
gum.
found your gloves?
Mm-hmm.
Your new ones?
Yes.
Yep. Your Seahawks gloves?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's Diego's it's Isaac's birthday coming up,
Yeah.
and we've been celebrating early
For a month.
Yeah,
He tricked me. And
he's been
told
telling
me
us all it's his birthday
it
for
was
the past month.
August 15th and it's September 15th.
Yeah, I'd like to also mention to our listeners, whoever is listening, guys, you're more than welcome to leave comments on Facebook or on YouTube, so we can we'll pick one question. If you have any questions for Diego, for Isaac, for any of us, we'll be more than happy to pick one interesting question and answer it to you. So if you have anything interesting to say, go ahead. We'll talk about it as well.
Yeah, buddy.
You have anything interesting there?
Well, just like we already know, Diego's a beast. Let's see, we've got a lot of comments.
All right, guys. Now I'll take my crazy helmet off.
Oh, here we go. Now we're gonna see Diego. Sorry about the feedback, guys.
All right, you guys. Here you go.
Here's an
So
interesting
somebody's
question.
asking, yeah.
Go ahead.
Vince DeVargas, he's out there asking if after you retire, do you have any ambitions of opening your own gym here in the 505?
In Albuquerque.
I don't know. We'll see. When I get there, I'm gonna cross that road. But we'll see. I don't know where it's gonna go. I really like working with the children and people like Isaac and like the guy who came in here yesterday, Brendan, and so we'll see where it goes. I don't know. If the opportunity arises, I might do a youth program.
Cool.
I think that might be my fit. That
S-
might be my fitting. Is like an amazing, super fun youth program that has
That would be
trampolines
cool.
and all kinds of awesome other stuff. We'll see.
I mean,
We'll
does
see.
it get irritating to hear a lot of people out there saying, Diego, he needs to retire. He doesn't look the same. I mean, it's gotta wear on you. after a while.
You go through phases. Like I went through a phase where I was like, God, just shut up already, people. It's not your life.
We all know about that.
You know what I mean? It's like you're gonna be brain dead after your career. I'm like, you really? You're typing this? You don't give
know
a
anything
shit
about it.
I'm
That's
like,
actually
you-
one of our Diego. That's actually one of our segments we were going to do. What did we call it? The keyboard what?
The enter the keyboard octagon.
Keyboard
The
octagon.
Yeah,
keyboard octagon.
octagon,
So
yeah.
we're going to obviously it's our new episode, so we're going to develop new things, new ideas. But one of those ideas we want to do is this type of segment.
So many trolls.
It's because there's so many negative people out there that never train in their life and it's hiding behind private accounts and
they don't even
and
they don't
taking
even keep
pot
up,
shots.
and for the most part they don't even keep up with your career.
Yeah,
So they don't even know if you've won your last fight, if you lost your fight.
They'll see a tagline
They-
about something
they-
and start.
They don't know. They know they probably watched me fight Clay Guida or something like already over 10 years ago. It's like people, live your life. We're here fighting. That's what we do.
It's the easiest thing
that's
to
what we
talk
do. You know
crap
what?
online,
You know
well.
what? You know what? We're not out there freaking selling drugs and
Exactly.
committing crimes. You know what? We're freaking making an honest living, taking care of our family, doing what I believe God gave me a gift, and I was placed in this path. And
do
that's
what you
why
do.
I'm here at the best gym in the world, in the best organization in the world. And you know what, man? I'm not getting my ass kicked, 3, 4, 5 fights in a row. You know, there's some fighters in the UFC that
win
have
some, you lose
lost
some.
5 in a row.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, I always bounce back.
Yeah.
And I always bounce back in pretty awesome fashion.
And so you people know about when you talk about Diego taking so much damage and things like that, it's affecting him. Obviously, no one knows what is going to be long term, but talking to Diego, knowing Diego, man, you can't tell he'd been affected by getting hit in the head, as people say, because I've known you for a couple of years now. And you're the same person you always were.
Yeah, and that's exactly what
Diego's Diego, man.
He's still got the flexibility of a teenager.
Remember what I told you? I went through phases. Like
Yeah.
I was in this phase where I was letting like what the people were saying get to me, and that's when I hit up. I called up Dana White, and I was like, Dana, these people that are talking shit, like that I'm like about the way I talk. And he's like Diego, you talk exactly the same way you talk when you first walked into my office.
I remember. I became such a big fan of the show.
My Albuquerque Burque Chicano slang might have rubbed off a little bit, actually.
That's what people don't get, exactly.
Remember how you were on the show on the first episode? You're the same guy you were back then, just a little older now. That's all. Nothing changed, because even then, back in my mind, like, what's this guy doing? You know, because everyone was so new to the sport, they didn't understand any of it, and you were just doing things in your own way, and you're still doing things in your own way.
And still doing things in my own way, 100%. 100%.
There's no real written book by how you're supposed to be. You know, everyone is different and unique in their own ways. It actually, because I run the social media and stuff, and I read a lot of these negative comments and things about, especially John Jones' situation recently, and I understand where you're coming from when it rubs off of you. It's like when people attack you and take it, like they're saying, like, hey, steroids camp. I mean, how many people have really been in trouble from this camp that in that way? Just one person, and we truly don't even know. A lot of military there, Diego.
You know,
a lot of military.
Even one of my wrestling coaches, he's like, whatever you do, he's like, just remember, you're always kicking ass as the nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's any irony that he got picked for the military card when I mean, he just did that USO tour.
Yeah,
and that was pretty
and
cool.
you know, I was in the Navy. I was in a station in Virginia Beach, which is like 20 minutes from Norfolk, so it's part of the same.
Shout out to Iraq, Erbil.
Yeah.
All my homies out there on the Erbil base out there in Iraq.
Thank you guys.
Baghdad. Love you guys. Man, I couldn't imagine how hot it is out there right now.
Yeah.
But
we're sitting here all safe and sound.
Try to get a Norfolk Navy base. It's the biggest Navy base in the entire world. It's like a city within city, man.
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah, if you get a chance to get in the base and see all those aircraft carriers and destroyers and stuff like
the
that.
naval base, right?
Yeah, naval base. Norfolk.
I've never really, I've never been on a naval base.
Yeah, oh my God, it's unbelievable. I was stationed on there, so it's highly recommended.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for Norfolk, Virginia, and so we'll see if it's gonna be the Lionheart, Nightmare, Dream, but it might just be El Corazón de León. I might come onto the mariachis at El Corazón de León. I don't know. I don't know. I like I said, I just go with the flow. I usually pick my walkout song usually a week before the fight. Yeah, usually I'm just. It's like it's so close, and I'm like, let me change it again.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I change it? I'll buy you lunch if you let me change it.
Yeah, so we got a Facebook question from Vincent Vargas. It says, "Do you believe Ray Ward will shock the world on Saturday?"
You know what? I think that he has a great chance. He's got everything on his side, age and his experience is right where his experience is right where it needs to be for this fight. And I think everything's gonna line up good for him. He put a lot of time in the mountain conditioning. He put a lot of hard work. I saw so much hard work by him, so much fight simulation. So I think he's ready for this. I know he's ready for this. The only thing that scares me a little tiny bit is the weight cut. How is the weight cut going to affect his conditioning?
Right.
And this is something that you see in our sport, and sometimes you see guys who are just gassed after the first round, and then you see guys who are in the most incredible shape. You got guys like Robbie Lawler who are coming on strong, coming on stronger in the third, fourth, and fifth round.
I never realized the height advantage that Ray actually has over DJ. There's that stare down.
I mean, I always happy when
knowing and seeing Ray on a daily basis now. I mean, we know how tall he is, and then seeing him next to
I didn't see
DJ in the fight thing. It was fascinating.
I didn't see that. That'll be cool. Yeah.
The way I always say it, it's like, when not a lot of people give him a chance when you read the comments and stuff, but I try to look past it, and I'm like, whenever there is a trained combatant steps into the cage, and both guys train with the best in the world, both at that level, so I always give 50-50 chance to either fighter, because it's a fight, man, right? I mean, anything can happen. No one gave Holly a chance either against Ronda. Steps out, knocks you out, especially when you train with guys like this.
It is a 50-50.
Yeah.
It is a 50-50. We just got to remember, it is Demetrius.
He's no joke.
At that time, too, it was like, okay, this Ronda Rousey, she dominated everything, then Holly comes in, she doesn't belong there, she, only had 2 fights, barely braced through them, and then she comes out and puts a performance of a lifetime.
Yep.
And, people, and Ray Borg seems to be very mentally strong.
He's so ready. He's so ready for this fight. I think he's gonna take. I think he takes down Demetrius. I think he takes Demetrius down, and I just hope he's ready for that part of the fight, because he's gonna be there. And Demetrius is going to be comfortable there.
Right.
I mean,
he's going to be attacking.
He's the Taz Mexican devil. I mean,
he fights like that.
He's like a Taz Mexican devil,
he's
man.
just like all over the place.
He's so freaking fast.
I'm praying for him. I think he's going to pull it out. I just, man, it would be so awesome if they gave him a parade like they did Holly.
He was born in Albuquerque, right?
I think he
not maybe Albuquerque, but he's from New Mexico.
He's a New Mexico native, yeah.
Isaac, do you follow the fighters besides Diego in the gym? Do you know who the guys are and where they're coming from? Like, do you know all the big names here?
Yes.
Yeah.
We already know your favorite is Diego. Who's your second favorite?
Yeah. Diego.
That's a tough
I like
question.
Diego. No one else matters. No one else. That's loyalty right there. That's loyalty.
This is my dog.
That's loyalty.
This is my real true
For those
number one best friend.
For those that know, man, he's on our website, on our roster. He's part of the team, man. He's part of the team, legitimately. He's on our roster. He's our fighter.
Hey guys, shout out to my barber, 3D Cuts, Derek Montoya.
Derek,
He, if you're in Burque and you want to come see the best fight shop, it got all the posters. It has my first poster, my last poster. I mean, this is the place you want to come.
Yeah, I was going to segue to that.
If you want to look sharp, look good, go check out 3D Cuts. Take your kids
up on Wantabo.
Ask Isaac. Isaac, where do you go get your cut? Where do you go get your haircut? 3D Cuts, right?
UFC.
Yeah. Oh, UFC.
You walk into that barber shop, and it's like walking into a gift store, a museum.
He's got so much memorability. He's been cutting a lot of hair for a lot of professional fighters.
High-level guys and low-level guys. He
takes care of everyone.
Yeah, but he sponsors Isaac. He's sponsoring Isaac. Isaac's his number one sponsored fighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna
always smiling.
We're ready for another haircut, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So keep your eyes on Isaac Marquez, the Shermanator, and you know what? He's gonna be fighting soon, and we're gonna get him to his peak conditioning with no salt.
Nope.
No salt.
No dust.
No bread.
No bread.
No cheese.
No cheese.
That's all we gotta do. All right.
Is there
and one more thing. No more what?
No Coke.
And no hot dogs.
No hot dog.
But only at the baseball games, right?
No baseball.
This guy's ruthless.
Isaac, if you had to talk about your overall development as a fighter, right? What do you think your strengths are, like, in regards to, do you like striking, you like grappling, like wrestling, like, or you consider yourself an all-around type of guy, or you prefer to fight in one specific way?
I love my big fight.
Yeah. What part of fighting? What part? Do you like the wrestling?
Punching, kicking, wrestling.
Or grappling?
About.
You like all of
All of it.
Both. So you could say you're well-rounded, yeah? So
Yeah.
you like all aspects. No matter where the fight goes, you're ready for that.
He has a hard.
Good,
He has
good.
he has a nice 1-2. Huh?
Two.
Your 1-2 punches
Yes.
and your takedowns and your arm bars.
About.
Arm bars. You know your arm bars. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't announced it yet, a date, but we do have a Jackson Wink card coming up pretty soon.
I think
And
December, right?
and our plan is to have the
Diego.
Shermanator, and there's the co-main event.
That's going to be
probably
Isaac's
yeah.
debut fight on
It's
here,
gonna be
here in
great.
Albuquerque.
Shermanator versus Diego will
We'll pack the house,
Pack the house.
with fans.
Diego will be fresh off his victory from.
I'm gonna ask.
November
I'm gonna
11th.
ask your girlfriend to walk you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. See how he gets excited?
We'll make sure she gets a front row seat. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Bring flowers. Bring flowers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, you know what I wanted to talk about a little before the fight? Like, I guess it's kind of interesting to get a perspective from everyone because we have a big card coming up, right? We have 3 fighters on that card this weekend, you know. But to get an opinion of you, Isaac, obviously Mark, and me on who's going to win.
We got a big fight card this weekend.
M&M predictions. And the way I guess I want to play it out is obviously Mark is. You will find out eventually. He has no clue about the sport, period. You know, we always argue about it and stuff like that, so he just doesn't understand it. So
I don't know, bro. Dude, by the looks of the shirts, I think he might know a little more than you, bro.
You know.
Yeah, see?
So,
Hey, we got the Budka team right here, baby.
well, who designed that shirt? I forgot that. You know, so.
Hey, that was a good one.
But I just wanted. So Mark's role will be like a keyboard warrior type of prediction. You know, the guy that doesn't know anything about sport, and me as
I may like their hair.
You know, me as someone who runs the gym around the fighters all the time, things like that, and you obviously as a professional fighter, and want to get opinion of Isaac. And the next show we're gonna see who is right and who is wrong, and
All right, let's do it.
and then you know we'll continue that segment on every show. I think it's gonna be kind of cool to see who is more lucky in their predictions, because I personally don't like to make predictions, because in this sport you never know, because like I said, it's always 50-50. You can have an
We're
underdog
gonna do
who,
the main card.
you know,
So
so let's do the main card. Yeah, obviously, you know, we did, you know, obviously we're going to root for Borg, and you know, he's there, but
we're all for Borg on that one. But,
you know, all for Borg. But
let's-
if you had to see it and predict it, in which way do you think the fight is going to go with Ray?
I think it's going to be a 5-round decision.
For Ray,
5-round decision for Ray.
he's going to outwork.
I think that he's going to use his size, and that it's going to come down. My honest opinion is it's going to come down to those 2 rounds, man.
Last 2 rounds.
Last 2
Yeah.
rounds. I think it's going to come down.
The championship rounds.
And that's why I said the only thing that concerns me is the weight cut. You know, because that could play into the 5th round. You know, it's just a weird thing. You know, but he's 24, right?
He's young.
He's so young that
Yeah.
I think he's gonna just do phenomenal and capture the title with a decision and maybe set up a rematch. That's my assessment.
Diego's alluded a couple times to the weight cut thing, and yeah, there has been a couple incidents, but this time he's working with some different people, and we're pretty confident that that's not going to be an issue come tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning. So
How do you think, Isaac, the fight is going to end? Obviously, you're on Ray Borg's side, we know that. So how do you think he's going to win?
I'm gonna win.
You going to win?
Yeah.
there we go.
Oh.
That's
So
Isaac wins every fight.
Isaac wins. Isaac beats Mighty Mouse. No doubt about it.
You know,
You, the most knowledgeable,
obviously, I'm
the
going.
most knowledgeable
I'm
expert
going
in the
with,
game.
Hey
Let's go.
guys, that's his weight class, you guys.
It's,
That's
it is.
crap, man.
So like,
So,
don't mess, dude,
He's been watching
Flyweight.
boys. Said none of them's going to win. I'm going to win. Well, I'm coming up.
taking the
That's
division.
his weight class.
Yeah, he's taking over by storm.
That's his belt.
I'm going with Ray. Obviously. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Of course,
guys.
everyone's going with
I gotta go with Isaac on this one, man.
Yeah. Well,
go with
it's hard
Isaac.
to
Sorry,
go against
Ray.
Isaac.
So the most knowledgeable expert here. So
I
go
think something
ahead.
exciting is going to happen in the 3rd round. I mean, this is a 5-round fight, but I think there's something exciting.
All
gonna
right.
happen.
So you got that. I'm thinking obviously the same thing. Like, I mean, I think from seeing Ray constantly in the cage here training and what he's been doing and how he's been actually putting it, you know, as motivated as he is for this fight, I think he's going to outwork Mighty Mouse as well. So I give him 5 rounds. You know, he's gonna win a decision. Yeah.
All right, there you
So
go.
we agree on that one. It's kind of easy to talk about the guy
These guys
that
got too much endurance.
yeah.
Like, they got a big heart, probably about the size of my heart, and they're little guys, and so they could just, man, they put the hard work in too, and they can just go. They don't.
Yeah.
They
It's hard to compete with a lion
They
heart,
recover.
though.
They recover with like in 30 seconds. They're,
Yeah.
you know, you see Demetrius on the stool like this, just looking at Matt Hume like,
And Ray,
You rarely see anyone at that weight guessing out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
that's-
even that they're
yeah.
just that way too. It has to
Yeah.
do something with
and
that.
Ray never
that's-
looks tired.
And that's like, look at Little John. Little John,
That's another
he
one.
was at 25s. He was like me at 55s. He had to go up to 35s.
Right.
And see, that was the same thing for me because I was kind of stuck in between 70 and 55s.
Right.
Because that's 15-pound jump.
That's
You
big.
know,
big,
so
yeah.
what do
All
you
right,
do?
let's talk about Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko. Very interesting fight, obviously. You know, both of these ladies been doing damage in that division for a while. You know, I mean, we know Holly lost to Valentina, but it was a close fight. It just and Amanda obviously coming back from sickness, right, or whatever she suffers, and the rematch didn't happen. Due to her nasal congestion thing, whatever it is.
Yeah,
you
whatever
know.
the heck that thing was.
Yeah, so no one knows. But so what do you think, Diego? This fight this Saturday?
I think it's gonna. We'll have a new champion.
Thanks.
It's gonna be Valentina, and I think what an amazing champion she is gonna be. I love everything about the way that girl carries herself. She's cool. She's humble. She
Pretty.
even does the little dance, you know, like
Yeah.
she's got character.
Yeah,
you know
she
what I mean?
does.
She's got cool character, and so does Amanda Nunes. But I think that this girl is gonna get it done. I think she won the last fight. I watched the last fight, and
Well-
I thought she won that fight.
Yes, and people were saying from that fight if it would have been a 5-round, because she started picking up in the 3rd round, right? Like really dominating Nunes. I don't remember exactly how it was going on, but people were saying if it would have been 4 or 5, actually, I mean, it's 2 more rounds, it would have been probably Valentina. What do you think, Isaac?
I like it.
What?
I like it.
You
He
like
likes
it?
He likes it all.
You like
He
it?
likes it.
Yeah,
He
but
likes it.
who do you think is gonna win?
Me.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, okay.
Isaac's gonna take over women's division
saw-
too.
we
man.
saw-
Watch
I
this.
saw that coming. Hey, that's awesome.
Watch this.
Isaac's the man. I gotta go with Shevchenko. I mean, anyone that can beat Holly is, I mean, that's impressive. It's Holly's a beast. Yeah, and for someone to beat Holly, that
You have to
person
be
must
that level.
unbeatable. So
Yeah.
Shevchenko is definitely gonna win.
I think also Shevchenko. I think she's gonna outstrike her, outpoint her, and take a decision. 5 rounds.
Hey guys, I got a whole nother. Let's.
Yeah.
So we all agree with Valentina.
Yeah.
But man, when's Holly gonna get that title shot and fight Cyborg?
Well,
Is it gonna happen or
There's
what?
stuff-
They're
there's stuff
talking
going
about
on
it.
behind the scenes. Yeah,
They're
it's,
talking about it.
I know.
Non-stop.
If I was Holly, I say Holly, fight 45s. Fight 45s. Just do it. You know, like you're gonna have more energy. You're gonna have more rest. You're gonna be focused on the fight.
The thing is, I just read yesterday that Cyborg just got commissioned for boxing in California. So there's something going on with that. I don't know if she wants to do a boxing match now with Holly. Maybe I don't know.
You know,
that-
Holly performs so well in the fights that she's not supposed to win. You know, especially being an underdog like with Ronda and so on. And I think when she steps up to the challenge dramatically, man.
I
you know what I'm saying?
think that Holly is better at 45s.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I think
and
she's
from
gonna-
watching,
Well, she got robbed. We all know she got robbed.
Especially if she fights somebody who's having that hard weight cut.
yeah.
If she's fighting a Cyborg who has that hard weight cut, I'm telling you, man, if Holly doesn't have a hard weight cut, and she has, that's a huge advantage.
And I don't think Cyborg ever fought anyone with a pedigree of Holly Holm, like at that level, you know. And from the last fight of Cyborg, actually, and I mean, she went into a 3rd round with a very doable fighter in Evan Gerard, but at the same time, I felt like Holly is just with her movement and her striking and everything. She's just going to run circles around Cyborg. I mean, Cyborg, it felt like she was very plodding and just moving and just she got tired. I mean, we know Heavinger is very tough. It's hard to put her away and stuff, but Holly's not going to stand there with her back against the cage. We know that. Holly's going to move so much and just like pop it in and out, in and out. We know that, right? So, and I think she's going to just, and maybe even knock her out because I don't think Cyborg ever seen her, right? The 4th or 5th round, let's say, right? I don't remember her whole career, but Holly will take it there. I guarantee.
If I was an advisor of Holly Holm, I would say take the fight with Cyborg.
Put her away.
You know, like that's become the most legendary fighter of all time.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that's incredible. That's
boxing champion, 2-time UFC champion.
You could be the GOAT. You could be the GOAT if you beat Cyborg.
Oh yeah.
That's a true story.
Let's cover this fight real quick. Neil Magny versus Rafael dos Anjos. Interesting, man. Neil Magny.
When that's this weekend?
Yes.
That's this weekend.
What a beast of a fight, man.
Dang, Dos Anjos got a fight right back to back.
Yeah,
he just fought.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah, that was like 1 month, 2 months, maybe.
Not sure, but what do you think?
Neil
is a very awkward guy to fight. So tall, so lengthy, man. Rafael is just, he'll have to close that distance, man, and just work the body and just try, I don't know, maybe take him down or something. What can happen in that fight? Some fights is just hard to call, you know. What do you think from your perspective?
It's all just depends on Rafael dos Anjos' utilization of his body shots. The liver kick essentially is going to be his main move to like if you watch the fight with Pettis, he attacks Pettis' liver so crazy with that liver kick, and that's what wore Pettis down like hard. Yeah. And so you look at that one weapon could change the whole fight, but I think in this one Neil Magny, he trains high altitude. Man, it's a toss up in my opinion. It's a 3-round fight. I think that my pick would have to be. Man, I'm so freaking biased. I'm gonna go with RDA.
Yeah. Write it down, man. Keep writing down things so we'll remember. We won't remember.
I'm gonna go with RDA because I love RDA. RDA is awesome.
What do you think? Me?
I'll take it.
I'm gonna make Shermanator for Shermanator, of course.
Shermanator that wins the whole card.
RDA's been the champ before, so.
You know what? I was cage side when Neil Magny fought one of the Russian fighters, and I was like cage side, and I remember this fight, and he was so awkward, man, with his height and stuff, man. It's just like it's so hard to fight this guy, man.
One time I seen him fight. One time he came down to the old gym and he was training with Adlan.
Yeah.
And Adlan was dropping everybody with the spinning kick, and Neil Magny, he was seeing it coming and getting out of the way.
Remember Gassan,
and he was taking it to Adlan, man, and getting him down, taking his back and taking
he was on the 7-8 fight win streak right before he's got what's his name when I need to I forget the names when he got his win streak beaten by Maya. He was on a 7-8 fight win streak, and runs into Maya, and Maya just runs through him. So it's like, but for those 7-8 fights, wherever his win streak was, man, no one could solve that puzzle, man. And just because how awkward it is, like I said, I was cage side. Remember Gassan Malatov? He used to train here, from Russia. So and Gassan fought him at his first debut fight, and I remember watching it. How frustrating it is to go against someone like this with that height and with that skill level too. That you can't just, no matter what you do, it's just not there, you know. And you have limited amount of time to solve the plot puzzle too. So I would give it to Neil Magny. I think possibly even a 3rd round finish. Because
this is one of those fights where I just was like, I gotta go with Dos Anjos because I'm biased.
Okay, no problem.
It's kind of like a 50-50.
Yeah,
it's kind of a 50-50.
I would give it like 51-49 type of thing. But now we got Tyson Pedro. our boy Tyson versus a very hard-hitting Ilir Latifi.
Okay.
Interesting.
Tyson trains here at Jackson Wink.
Tyson trains here. He's already been doing a second or third camp with us, right?
This is his third, yeah.
Very good athlete. You know Tyson, right? So, what do you think? I mean, without being biased, like truly, what do you think is going to happen? Tyson is a good striker, tall, lengthy. He's got the size in the way of height. And
light heavyweights going at it.
Heavyweights, big boys. A little Latifi, very good national wrestler, right where he's coming from. Very hard puncher.
He's a national wrestler?
Yeah, he was a very, very big national background. I don't remember which country. I think Sweden or something. He's pretty accomplished wrestler.
Yeah. He has that build, so I just never knew he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
He is always fighting on his feet for the most part when I watched him.
Yeah, he does, but he's very comfortable taking people down. So, what's your prediction on that one?
My prediction on that one is Tyson will be able to use his reach, stay relaxed, and find his rhythm. And when he finds his rhythm, I think he's just going to take the fight away from him and start to pull away and probably just get a decision because I think that guy's too tough. He's not going to put him down. That guy's got
He's been put away before, you know, earlier. He'd been knocked out with a body kick.
Yeah.
And, well, we know your answer. So, you know, I'm not even going to ask. What do you think?
Right, Isaac.
Expert?
Isaac for the win.
MMA expert, let's
No,
go.
Tyson's going to win. I've got some great pictures of Tyson training, and he looks very good on camera.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, he's,
as long as you look good on camera,
and
you're
his
dominant.
work ethic is great. Those tattoos really pop, especially in black and white. So yeah, I definitely have to go with him.
Sweet, yeah. I think it's going to be. I think Tyson's going to outstrike him. He's going to go to the body, kick him to the body, tire him out, knock him out. You know, maybe second round.
There you go.
Because a little Latifi, he has this tendency to lay everything out on the line in the first round. Just comes in as Mike Tyson style forward, you know, because he has to close the distance because he's short, obviously, so he has to close the distance, and he does it a lot with like overhands and haymakers and stuff like that. So he has to come in forward. As long as Tyson withstands that first fury, he has a huge chance because I think he's going to get Ilira's going to get tired. You know, trying to knock him out.
I guess that wraps up the card. All right.
Yeah, there's much more we can talk. Let's just wish also Mitch Clark is our boy.
Of course,
he's
well,
fighting
Yeah,
fight pass.
Mitch Clark, shout out to Mitch Clark. Mitch Clark's a great dude, great part of our team, and
Really
he worked really hard and
Very humble guy, man.
He's working with our nutritionist, Dr. Anita here.
He's making a comeback off of a torn ACL or PCL or something like that.
Yeah, he had a bad injury.
And so he's making a comeback and
Very legitimate black belt, man. Like I roll with him, man. The pressure he has on top, man, is just tremendous, man.
Such a
Reminds
nice
me
guy.
of you, man, too. Very, very top-heavy pressure with jiu-jitsu was, you know.
He's so calm. He's a nice guy.
Canadian.
he's one of the nice fighters that you're like.
How
Is
can
he
you not
really
like the
fighter?
guy?
You're like, dude, you're too nice to fight.
Canadian. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or what, but yeah.
Most Canadians come, they're pretty nice, you know. Well, anyway, I mean, we usually what we're thinking to do show for an hour. I mean, we can do whatever.
What, anything else, guys? Any other things we could address?
We're just very honored to be here, man, and to do what we do, man. If this is literally the best MMA gym in the world by far. I mean, if you know the MMA game and you do your research, you'll know where we're coming from and what this gym has accomplished, and with the amount of fighters and legends that's coming out of this gym is unbelievable. I mean, if I start calling the names and putting everything in perspective, it'll take days to cover the history of this gym. And I mean, I'm very fortunate enough to be able to be put in a position to run this gym and be able to train with these legendary fighters that I've been watching when I was younger. I mean, I started literally watching this first Ultimate Fighter season, man. Got hooked on the show, and now I'm sitting across Diego Sanchez and talking to him, and he became my training partner. I trained with him, and it's a blessing. It's Coach Wink always, when I ask him, Coach, how's it going? He says, living the dream. We're truly living the dream, and if anyone wants to be part of this dream and accomplish some things and surround yourself with all the success that's coming out of here, you know, I'm the guy to get you in, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
if you're a fighter, guys,
you know,
there's a
go-
website on the bottom of the screen. Make sure you log on. There's the frequently asked questions section. Just get a hold of
Go
Misha.
to on the front page. It says new fighter inquiry. Just click, fill it out, and it gets to me, and I'll start a conversation with you. So just if you want to train here, either if you're an amateur fighter or you're a pro fighter, you know, you're more than welcome to join, man. And we'll bring you aboard as long as you behave yourself, obviously, because we want to keep everything going smoothly here and stuff.
Well, so thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate this, and you know, it's our first show. We try to keep it a little interesting for everybody. We wanted to introduce the world to Isaac. There, he's a real joy to be around, and
I tried to give him a piece of candy just now. They said,
well, you know, we got
No
this
candy.
we got this
he's
candy.
on
from-
his- he's on his diet.
Yeah.
We literally have
That was-
10
that was-
Chinese guys
that was a
living here,
test.
Yeah.
and they brought this candy.
Yeah, we get this white
We have no clue
rabbit
what it
Chinese
says. It's in
candy.
Chinese,
I don't know.
yeah.
It says white rabbit.
But everything else is Chinese, so we
Yeah.
don't know. But so we asked the translator. They said it's like the most famous.
We have like
in
50
China.
guys living in the dorms from like Mongolia, China, Russia, Australia,
I know.
Norway.
That's-
It's
dude,
like, and
dude,
guys coming in.
Great
and
job,
out.
great job at getting us these guys from all over the world.
Just makes us better.
I love it. I wake up. I don't have to travel. I don't have to stay in
Yeah.
a
They all come to you.
apartment, a
Yeah.
hotel. I live, you know, in
And they come to
Albuquerque.
you. They
I-
come to you, literally.
I love training here at this gym.
It's like you never know
awesome.
who you stand in the
And then
cross.
I got the best freaking doctors upstairs.
Doctor,
I can go to
nutritionist.
therapy. I can get myself fixed up. You know,
One-stop shop.
Yeah,
One-stop
it is
shop,
a one-stop
MMA.
shop.
Yeah, the game, the MMA evolved dramatically, and we're happy to be the pioneer in this type of process, this type of system. And if you have any questions, always feel free to go to the website, like Mark said, jacksonwing.com. Send me questions, send me inquiries. I'll always talk to you. You know, try to minimize the phone calls because my phone rings nonstop. That's why we have the website. The website with all the questions. We combine the, you know, all the basic and all the common questions that people ask. So go on there, and hopefully, you know, keep supporting us. We really appreciate our fans. Try to understand we do everything we can possibly do in an honest and most professional way. You know, certain things happen with fighters that are out of our control. So, you know, but we try the best we can to provide the fighters with the best training possible and the best conditions possible.
And on that, Diego and Isaac, it was a pleasure having you guys in the studio today, and you guys are welcome anytime again, and it was a pleasure.
Once again, big shout out to the company that made it all happen, the
And
CBD Boutique.
That's right.
Go to their website, check out their products called Heka. And
H-E-K-A,
yeah, give us
Heka.
the feedback, send us comments, send them comments. Just let's build this together. You know, we couldn't do it without our fans and everyone. And just thank you for the support.
All right, guys.
See you next week, guys.
And one more thing.
Go.
And one more thing, Isaac. What is it? What is our motto? Our motto is never quit,
No quit.
work hard,
Not hard.
and dedication.
Get it.
That's right.
All right.
Pleasure having you, man.
Good job.
Thank you. Bye bye.